What is going on? What is going on? I am Jay Watts. As y'all know, I am an ordained minister. I'm starting this trying not to cuss and everything else. That's like one of my favorite sayings is everything else or it all. But yeah, I'm going to be showing up late for church today, but I'm not necessarily a pastor over there. Well, I'm not a pastor. So, I do my own thing. In fact, I'm fixing to start my YouTube after 10 years of being a pastor. Or being a ordained minister. I want to share something with you. I really do. I don't like it when it's just been recently rectified or rectified is the word. Otherwise torn down. That Jesus was only talking to the straight people, and that we don't need what the Bible or what the Christians that are calling or that's reading the Bible is saying homosexuals in the church. First of all, the church was made for every sinner. So everybody needs to go if you believe in Jesus. Second of all, the homosexual sin that he was talking about was more along the lines of paying debts. Whenever back then, and I'm going to cover this history in the Bible, where I take some of the Bible and compare it to the historic times at that time, at that point blank in time. It was more, if you had debts, and it's called Jubilee sessions, a session of 7 years. You had 7 years to pay off your debt. And theoretically, I don't know how much time was in an accurate sense, as in the Bible saying, but because some scholars say 7 years, some scholars say 50 years to pay off your debts. And how would they make you pay off your debts? Sometimes it's indentured servitude. Sometimes it's just being a part of their labor team. There's a difference there because one actually got paid a little bit of pay, but not much. Then you had the ones that would basically sleep their way out. And I know that's a little bit on the stronger words and stuff like that, but it was put towards the it depends on who the guy that you owed the money to, or the currency to whether they wanted you to do what, what it is, whether you was a part of their labor team, or whether you was just in all encounterments a slave. I really didn't want to use that word today, but I mean, it is what it is. Then if they deemed you like where they really wanted you, then you was there for that. And the old times, that's the way it was. I mean, you did what you was told on that. Then you got the whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing. And all of that was like the reason. It wasn't about homosexuality. It wasn't about anybody being sexual at all. It was about people being inhospitable and being not the people that God wanted them to be. And that's a huge thing whenever it comes down to like the stories in the Bible, is because if you wasn't a part of what God wanted you to be, and there was a whole group of y'all, some of this sparked controversy, and that's the reason why we have history in the Bible. So whenever a church, God's place, you would think that all churches would be open and affirming to everyone. But they're not. You have churches all day, every day that build their people with hate. They teach the wrong thing. They teach the misinformation because they got taught the misinformation. And I really would wish, because the Bible picks up on the aspects of the LGBT, and don't really call them LGBT, They call them eunuchs. Which by definition, if you want to really get technical, the Bible calls them that because they are away from society. They cannot bear children. And there's a lot more that goes along with that. So, like, you get a really good picture in Matthew whenever they're talking about divorce in Matthew 19, that, okay, sometimes, and this is from that story, sometimes it's not about bearing children. It's not about being in a nuclear family, or what is called a nuclear family within America. So, I mean, whenever a church, and I'm saying this truthfully, whenever a church is not open and affirming, they're doing a disservice to you. Because they're not preaching, they're not opening the door for everybody to come in and to everybody to feel safe within the Lord's house. This is the reason why I like where I go. And if I can't go to my church, friends here in College Station, I go and I get a hold of a couple of friends of mine, and they know exactly what churches to go to that are not only safe for the LGBT, but they also do the right thing, and they're also affirming in their beliefs for everybody. And that's pretty much my message for today, is that if you are in a church that is not doing the right thing and getting you open the door for everybody, then you're going into a politically charged church. You're not stepping into God's house. You're stepping into a politically charged church. I was planning on, whenever I looked at this, and I got the message of, hey, look, well, I thought I was going to get over there, okay. But I got this message, and I looked it up and everything, and then I found out that, yes, these churches gonna exist. They are. But we need to, this is 2026, as the saying goes and everything else, we need to step into 2026 and not 1865. We need to understand fully that our text that we go and live by, it was put on the hearts and minds by God. And I'm talking about the original text, the Hebrew and the Arabic, or the Hebrew, the Greek, and the Aramaic scriptures. I think if we go back and read the actual scripture that it was said, we could see the inconsistencies that that the King James put out there, and that we still have today. Do I think it says all the hateful stuff that it said in the Bible? No, I don't think it said that at all. I think Jesus and I think God. Well, I can understand some of the Old Testament literature and stuff like that, but whenever Jesus shows up on the scene, I'm starting to talk like the younger kids. Tell you how long I've been around anywhere from 20 to 25-year-old people. But Jesus shows up, and it's like the demeanor changes. It went from like a military style parent to a loving grandpa. You can't get away with murder, but you can get close. Honestly. So, here's the thing. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it to you now, the scripture that you read, the scripture that is taught to you, I want you to learn one thing. Jesus loved everybody. Not just the straight, not just the white. He loved everybody. He loved the gay, he loved the trans, he loved the lesbian, he loved the straight, he loved the asexual, the two-spirited, all of the above. He loved black, white, brown. I mean, just every race. He loved everybody. And yet, 2026, Christians, just like in most Abrahamic faiths, have more hate in their hearts more hate in their hearts than everybody else. Guys, we need to do something about that. And whenever I say guys, I'm talking about everybody. We need to do something about that. I think the LGBT's got it right. Love is love. No matter who you're with. Let's translate that and turn it to God. Our love for God and our love for Jesus, one of the biggest commandments that Jesus had was to love your neighbor. Did not say love your neighbor until they come out to you and say, I'm gay, straight, or I'm gay, trans, lesbian, bi, whatever. Does not say that. It says love your neighbor. And whenever you put that exception in front of that phrase, or after that phrase, and you start pointing out that only this one's deserving of my love. You're not doing God's work. You haven't been doing God's work. And my last thought before I go. The statement of being woke. I think everybody needs to be woke. Woke is having our eyes open, listening, making sure that we do the right thing, being on the right side of history. Because if you're not woke, what are you? You're asleep. You're ignorant to the world around you. You're not going to have it to where you are in a good and complete way that you can be a part of this world. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe or follow me, as not only I do YouTube stuff on Proudly Driven, Trans Gamer Live, but I'm also going to be doing stuff for J Watts for GOV and Pastor J Watts. Like I said, I started my YouTube. Would love to have you over there. If you would love to talk, go to dot.cards/jwatts4gov and send me an email. Send me an email. Let's be the change, not for each other, but for unity And let's have compassion and empathy for each other. Much love to each and every one of y'all, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all that stick around and watch this. And as always, I'm going to sign off like what I would do over on my Proudly Driven. I know that I usually end on a high note over there, but this is just a personal type thing. So I'm going to see you down the road.